Now, we've been hearing about the influence of Chinese business here in Zambia, but one company that is 100% Zambian is M-Mobile. They manufacture the M-Tech mobile phone, currently producing around 2,000 units every month, and they have big plans to expand beyond the borders of Zambia. I'm here with the owner of the company, Mohammed Sidat, who's going to tell us a bit more. Welcome to Africa Business Report.
Thank you.
Tell us, how big is the market for the mobile phone here in Zambia and indeed in the region?
In the region point of view, Zambia's population is about 12.5 million. Subscribers, users are about 3.5 to 4 million. And we're trying to target 1 million phones on average a year. And how can we promote them? Basic communication has to be there.
But how is this product, the M-Tech mobile phone, different from what else is on the market from Europe and from Asia?
Remember, this is our first mobile manufacturing plant in the whole of Africa, in Zambia as well.
Right.
And it has given us a lot of encouragement and support, right? And we're coming with our Zambian brand.
Okay.
That M-Tech is going to be... M-Tech came out from the Malcolm Group, basically. Right. It's a Zambian brand, in short.
It's a Zambian brand. Yeah. But I went through some of the markets here in Lusaka, and everywhere you look, there's a whole flood of phones from China. Obviously, that must be a big challenge for those of you who are manufacturing locally.
Oh, yes, very big challenge there, but we're giving them the same product as any other product.
If we move along your production line, I can see that you even have stuff that is very sophisticated. I mean, we're talking about a mobile phone with television on it.
Yes, sure. That's the new product which we are now introducing ourselves.
Okay.
So that people can listen to the television and see the World Cup 2010 coming. So we have to go into competition somewhere, you know, and fight for the 2000 World Cup thing, and people can see the sportsmen.
So anywhere I am in Zambia, with this phone I can watch television?
Wherever Zambia National Broadcasting people are, they will be able to watch television.
Interesting stuff.
And that's a double SIM as well.
Double SIM, so you can be on two networks.
Two networks.
And this is all a Zambian product. Totally. So what are your plans for the future? How do you move from this operation to a global player, if you like?
We're targeting the neighboring countries as well. We are working with the government, is giving us full support. And with their support, I think we'll win the situation. We're having our battles at the moment in terms of the competition and that. But surely, we are a new child born with a new mobile plant, first of the plant in the whole of Africa, and we'll grow with it.
Mohammed Sidat, thanks for being with us on Africa Business Report. So yes, the Chinese presence is visible in Zambia and other parts of Africa, but they are receiving tough competition from companies like M-Mobile. Now, over in South Africa, an instant messaging and social networking technology called Mixit is revolutionizing the way people communicate in South Africa. It has 18 million users, but it's also creating some controversy as well. Mpola Kaje reports.
Truly speaking, I do love music. I have fun, and I enjoy it.
It's got everyone talking. Mixit is a new way of sending messages cheaper than texting. It's only 6 years old, but here in South Africa it already enjoys enormous success. This generation is taking full advantage of it.
When I'm done studying or when I'm done like things at home, I just log on Mixit and then I meet my friends in Mixit and other people.
You don't listen when your parents talk to you, you just focus on it every time, yeah. So that's why it's very addictive.
With technological developments sweeping across the African continent, it looks set to cover an even wider audience. Let me show you how Mixit works. Firstly, you have to have the kind of phone that will enable you to download the Mixit software. It doesn't have to be an expensive phone. It can be any of these. Secondly, you download the application free of charge, and then you get the numbers of the people that you'd like to be in touch with. You can send picture and audio messages to more than one person simultaneously.
We don't charge for the software, so it's completely free. We also don't charge for messaging. The mobile network operators, they obviously make some money out of it, but it's tiny amounts to send a message.
Popular as it may be, Mixit has had its fair share of criticism. Some have called for it to be banned after a number of teenagers were abducted last year when they met strangers through the site.
There's been some controversy between Mixit and the public in terms of certain incidents which have happened, and there's been a bit of public outcry around Mixit. This negative press obviously is not going to help them, And moving into Africa, they don't really want that type of tagline if, you know, they're going to try and get into those markets.
With 250 million messages recorded on Mixit daily, it shows that young South Africans have changed the way they socialize. But whether or not it will enjoy the same success outside of this country remains to be seen. Paula Gage, Africa Business Report, Johannesburg.
And that story brings us to the end of this edition of Africa Business Reports, coming to you this month from Zambia. Now, if you'd like to find out more about any of the stories you saw on this edition of the program, visit our website. It's bbc.com/Africa Business Report. And do join us. We are on Facebook as well. I'll leave you now with some sights and sounds of Zambia. Until next time, I'm Komla Dumo. Goodbye.
Now to a milestone day for the citizens of East Africa, or more precisely, the netizens. As of today, the last big chunk of the planet without easy access to the internet has finally been plugged in. For years, getting online in East Africa has been expensive, incredibly slow and unreliable. But now a cable laid under the ocean from India promises to change all that. Our technology correspondent Rory Kethlan-Jones reports from Mombasa in Kenya.
It's a country with a mobile phone shop on every corner and a great hunger for better connections to the outside world. But for Kenyans, getting online is still a struggle. Now though, a fibre optic cable laid under the ocean all the way from India has come ashore here on a beach at Mombasa, bringing Kenya its first solid link to the internet. And it's not just Kenya which stands to benefit from the arrival of this cable just a few feet beneath me. It'll link up the whole of East Africa to the high-speed internet at a reasonable price for the very first time. But just who will benefit? In the countryside outside Mombasa, we found a charity supplying farmers with water pumps. So, what's the web got to do with growing tomatoes in a drought? The charity Kickstart needs to collect data from every farm it helps. A faster internet connection is making that easier and cheaper.
Increasing efficiency is saving money. Saving money means we are able to reach more of these people at a cheaper cost.
This school is one of many here, now hoping that the internet will play a big part in education. Kenya has got some tech-savvy young people desperate for better internet connections. But this one is worried about whether the cable will actually deliver.
This connectivity will be the most important thing for my generation since independence, genuinely. But the question is, will it get to my doorstep? Will it really reach the people that need it?
Back at St Charles Luanga School, they're looking forward to joining the information age. But they may find there are still a few potholes on the road to the internet future.
Well, earlier today we put the new internet connection to the test when we used it to talk to Rory in Mombasa. Rory, great to speak to you, courtesy of a broadband connection no less, but why are you holding a spear?
It may look like a spear, Matt, but this is the new link which is really tying East Africa for the first time into the internet revolution. It's part of an undersea cable which has come all the way under the Indian Ocean and landed on this coast. You can see at one end it's fairly heavily protected to make sure that it's not damaged along the way, but at the other end you won't really be able to see this, so thin it's a tiny fibre optic cable, and it's that which is the key really to a revolution in this area, because they've not had any kind of decent connection until now. They've been getting their internet via satellite connections, very, very slow and very expensive, and that is the key. The price now should really come down.
Presumably what you're holding there is just an example. You haven't actually dismantled the connection just to show us what it looks like.
No, I haven't. We are at the landing station where the cable comes ashore and from where it's dispatched across the rest of East Africa. They just chopped a bit of it off just to show us what it looks like. But of course, the real thing is heavily protected. It's one of the most vital economic assets now in this whole region. It's one of several cables due to land here. This one has won a race, really. It's been supplied by a private sector consortium who've got here first. There's another one funded by local governments, which is promised almost by the week and has not yet arrived and been switched on.
And Rory, it's amazing to imagine what comes out of a tiny cable like that. But give us some idea of what this revolution would look like. I mean, are we talking about call centres in Kenya, for instance?
Well, that's a very interesting point. This area, this country, Kenya, others like Rwanda nearby, they have great ambitions to be the next place where countries outsource work to. Yes, call centres, all sorts of other industries that depend on good communications. And there's a young generation which is already quite web savvy. They've got mobile phones, they use them in all sorts of interesting ways. They'd love to get on the internet. They say they want to compete for jobs with other people around the world in the information economy, and they're hoping that this new link will help them do that.
Rory Kethland-Jones on a slightly crackly but nonetheless revolutionary broadband connection from East Africa, the first ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you.